Florida's DeSantis has signed the Parental Rights and Education Bill, hits back at Hollywood critics. Democrats misleadingly attacked Florida legislation as Don't Say Gay bill. I like that the Fox News subhead accurately points out that they've been lying the whole time about what this bill does. Now, my understanding is the initial inception of it was more so targeting, don't teach about gender identity or whatever. After several amendments, they came to, okay, how about we just say pre-K, preschool to third grade, we don't want you teaching identity and orientation stuff to children, to these 4 to 9 year olds. After that, it's fine. Just keep it age appropriate. And for those 4-year-olds, as long as you talk to them in a semi-private setting, totally okay. Did you know that? In Florida, this bill that was passed by Republicans will still allow a teacher to go up to a 4-year-old in a semi-private setting, meaning if they're in a classroom, there's a bunch of kids running around and they're playing, a teacher can get up and walk over to a group of kids and say, do you want to learn about being trans?
Oh my God.
The bill does not ban that.
Okay.
And so that's what they've been claiming.
Well, maybe we'll make some calls into the Florida legislature.
Yeah. I mean, it does. Again, we were talking about it being an anti-grooming bill, but it doesn't go nearly far enough to even be called that.
Yeah. I call it the Don't Say Straight bill.
Yeah.
Because the teachers also can't talk to these kids about straight traditional marriage.
So I gotta be honest, the biggest pet peeve I have with this whole outrage is that when I was in high school, just like 6 years ago, if I said gay in any situation, I'd get detention. They'd be like, Alex, you can't say gay. And I tweet gay, and now congressmen who hate me, they find screenshots of my tweets from when I was 14, and I say the word gay in it, and they're like, he's a homophobe. So you used to get in trouble if you said the word gay, and now you see these idiots running through the halls of the school yelling gay and get no pink slips, no detention. That's the bone I got to pick with this bill primarily. It's just I grew up in the wrong times.
Have you seen the meme where it's all the stories about Disney workers being arrested for child exploitation?
Oh, absolutely. That's there's a great sheriff in that region of Florida named Gary Judd, Sheriff Judd. He's phenomenal, and I think he busted like 17 Disney workers for pedophilia and trafficking kids. It's a sick. I mean, and also Disney's so outraged about banning sex ed from young kids like this. I can guarantee when I have children, they will never watch Disney. What kind of subliminal messaging and crap do they put in there?
Whoa. You don't know the urban legends about Disney and their subliminal sex?
Oh, yeah. Have you seen that clip from The Lion King?
Oh, yeah.
Which one is that one? All good girls take off their clothes?
No. That was Aladdin. So in Lion King, when Simba falls down onto the flowers, the pollen flies up into the air and it spells the word sex. And Disney claimed, no. It said SFX. Look, we were excited about our new sound effects package. I'm not kidding.
What the?
They said we were excited about our new sound effects package, so we wrote SFX.
I'm sure we can get like a higher def image or whatever, but that's
weird.
There's also on the cover of The Little Mermaid.
Oh, yeah.
On the cover is a large, cylindrical.
Yes.
It's a mental illness that they want to teach these kids about sex, and they need to be held accountable for that. And I think DeSantis should reconsider the bill and make it even tougher out of this backlash, and also consider revoking some teaching license from these teachers who are so enraged by it. And who wants to push their sexuality on these kids?
Yeah, perverts.
Yeah.
Sick perverts. And the only people who won't stand up against this are either really sick perverts or they're complete cowards, because the responsibility of adults is to protect children. And as it happens, we live in a culture where people are so fundamentally either depraved or terrified and completely weak that they would rather allow children to be groomed than be called homophobic or some other word that everyone's too terrified to be labeled with to actually stand up and protect children against disgusting predators.
This one might be just, people...
Wishful thinking?
I don't know about wishful thinking, but like looking for something and then telling everyone it's true.
Yeah.
So, but let's see what Snopes has to say about this Disney thing, right?
Oh, boy.
Was a phallus purposefully added to the artwork of The Little Mermaid from 1998? False.
Of course not.
And you can see it's just a golden tower of various, sizes. And then what do we have it here? Where did it go? There you go. It's just a golden palace, tower. And everybody I know would always point this out and be like, hey, look what they put on the cover. You also have, what was it? It was Aladdin, right? When he was talking to, Aladdin was talking to Jasmine. Do you know this one?
It sounds like, yeah, I remember the
haven't heard
clip.
that one.
And then
Let me
also
see.
in The Rescuers, there was an example. I can't remember if it was The Rescuers or The Rescuers Down Under, but as they fly past a series of buildings, there's actually a pornographic image that's placed
Yes.
inside one of the windows. That's
Yes.
on camera for a fraction
my
of a second,
gosh.
but it is there.
Here's Snopes again. Did Aladdin ask teenagers to take off their clothes? False. Oh,
Okay.
it's false.
Snopes says it.
Good teenagers
No.
take off your clothes. In Aladdin, he whispers it. So let's see. Can we play it? Are we going to get YouTube?
Down,
What was that? They didn't even play it.
They did. You have to slow it
Oh, he's saying,
down.
"Come
Come
on,
on,
good
good
kitty, take off and go." Sure.
Okay.
I don't know, man.
I
Like
don't trust Disney.
maybe the Lion King one is like they really wanted it to say SFX,
Nah.
but like maybe
Why
That's
why even
weird.
have it say anything?
Yeah.
Right, I know. But so anyway, I bring up the Disney thing because it makes sense. If like these predators want to go to these Disney parks where there's kids everywhere, they're getting caught. What's fascinating to me is maybe it's just coincidence that Florida says, "Hey, we don't want you talking to kids about this stuff, whether it's straight or gay or otherwise." And then they're like, "Oh, harumph, say, how dare you tell us we can't say gay?" And then they go around running through the hallways. And then it's like, also, there's a ton of predators down there at Disney. You know, it's like, is that a coincidence?
No.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked about this a few shows ago, but Brian Peck was hired to be a consultant on a Disney film or on a Disney project after being found guilty of sexually abusing a child.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
There's some really demented people out there, and the outrage to this bill. And I'm glad that you brought that point up about how it doesn't go far enough. And if I know anything about Ron DeSantis, is he's going to want to make sure it's even tougher. And he's not going to cower to this outrage. He's going to, in fact, probably double down.
But maybe, I mean, the challenge is Republicans are consistently reasonable. The Democrats accuse them of being vicious authoritarians, and look what they do. They're like, you can still teach kids about this stuff, just not as a classroom discussion. And you know, it's like, why are you giving leeway to?
There's no room to negotiate on this one. These are children.
Yes.
They shouldn't even be allowed to have these. They shouldn't even be allowed to have a conversation. Period. Because this whole idea that you can change your gender, that should not be a conversation that we ever normalize nor accept. And so the idea that some unqualified teacher who's a creep is going to have this conversation with your child, you can't let that happen. And so we can't be reasonable. No leeway on this.
I keep hearing from parents who say, I can't speak up because I'd lose my job, and I'm just kind of like, it's kind of scary. It's kind of a scary prospect that you're more concerned about your job than who your kid is around for 8 hours every day.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's
all year
another
round.
job out there, and you don't have that many kids. Maybe you do.
And
This- but
imagine,
this is-
imagine being willing to work for the kind of employer who would fire you because you are against sexual perverts trying to groom your child and you're vocal about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people need to hear you can succeed. I think people need to hear that you said there are other jobs out there. There was, what's that website for like anti-woke people?
Square something.
Is that what it was? I don't know.
Company Square or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Square's a payment processing company.
Square is a
No,
payment
it's
processing.
it has
But there's
the name
another,
Square
there's
in it.
another
Yeah.
website you go to, and it's like job listings for people who aren't woke.
Oh yeah.
Well, God bless them. You got to find that out and you got to promote the hell out of them. I'm going to promote them. People need to have the courage to, stand up and say this stuff's enough.
Well, people, yeah, and
I
people
remember
need to fire.
And look, I was in high school when gay marriage was legalized, or the Supreme Court ruling, and I used to be like, what's even the fight about gay marriage? Like, the conservatives on their talk radio would be like, well, if we normalize this, what else are we gonna be forced to normalize? I'm like, oh, they're just bigots or whatever. And then 6 years later, somebody who was a woman for 4 days gets named Sports Illustrated Woman of the Year, Caitlyn Jenner, and now we're in this next phase of the transition into normalizing stuff, and
But
the grooming crap.
It's because there's no end, right? They say the ends justify the means, but there is no end.
Yeah.
Meaning, no matter where you are, you're always moving in one direction. The issue is, for me, it's not gay marriage or a slippery slope fallacy. I think two consenting adults is not the issue. Obviously, there's a lot of traditional conservatives who have issue with that. I disagree. The issue is children who can't consent. That's always been the point. Adults can consent because they can go and do their thing. Children cannot. I look at this like there needs to be a hard line. I don't need to come on and be like, what's next? Dogs and cats, living together or whatever. No. Just be like, no, I don't care about consenting adults. I care about this. Hard line, stop, done. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Who's
phenomenal on this? It's an open secret. That Twitter account, I think, is and I've gotten to know the folks behind that pretty well. And they say we got to stop using the term child porn, because porn's a consenting term and children can't consent. It's child rape and torture material. And so I try not to use the term child porn in my rhetoric, because when you're a child, you can't consent. And children can never consent. We can never normalize that. And so you're right. You do have to stand up for the kids. And the parents need to wake the hell up. And they need to be vocal. They need to be the ones that stop this. So
yeah, I want to make another point here, piggybacking off of what you just said about all of the arguments that were made by conservatives about gay marriage just a few years ago and where we are in relation to those. It's not just the case that basically every prediction made by the Christian right about what would happen in America after gay rights were legalized and gay rights were normalized happened. It's that like the most cartoonish strawman version of their argument that a left-winger would have come up with 10 years ago has turned out to be what's actually
like child
happening.
drag shows.
Yes, exactly. Like child drag shows. And also left-wingers like Pink News thinking that it is bad press for the Republican Party for them to go out there and go, did you know that the Republicans are going to try to ban child drag shows if they get elected? And expecting people to look at that and go, oh, wow, well, I'd better not vote.
Oh, no.
yeah.
Of course,
so weird.
It just, what a great advertisement.
It's just
alone,
become
man.
bizarre. And look, I still believe that I'm okay with gay marriage personally. Okay, whatever. But the stuff that's come from after it, it's been messed up. The trans rights has been such a weird issue, and I think Dave Chappelle kind of lays it out nicely, and he's like, you guys need to disown these other people. You need to disown the T and the pluses.
This is the problem. Yeah. There are people like I think Caitlyn Jenner has been great speaking up in defense of women's sports. People like Blair White, I think, are fantastic. There's a science researcher, a trans woman, who's talked about male advantages in sports. I think, look, people want to live their lives the way they want to live. I'm very civil libertarian. The issue is there are bad people who are trying to cover up their what they're doing by hiding within the LGBT community. And the challenge is when you call out these bad people, they will use that and say, so you're attacking trans people. And say, no. That is a person preying on little girls, going into the girls' bathroom, taking pictures of them. Yeah. I got no issue with the trans person. I got an issue with the people exploiting it, but you'll get banned.
Yeah.
You'll get kicked off the internet.
But I'm glad that people like Blair and Caitlyn are speaking out against this, this crap, and we need more, hopefully, more like them if there are them. Well,
there's just one more thing I want to say here, because I hear what you guys are saying. I don't think we share a perspective here, particularly on gay marriage. I think once a society says that two men can be married and tries to redefine marriage in that way, we've already lost the plot on what gender roles are. And so we're open to any and everything happening with the relationship between men and women that doesn't really correspond to reality and what the sexes do and how they're designed to relate to one another.
That's a long philosophical, moral, and ethical conversation. I think it's a libertarian, right now we're saying like libertarian versus conservative. Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.